we did webinars and we make, like 100 sales a month through a webinar, let's say, just give or take. Then we'll, like 1 month where our sales are down, we're like, what happened? We're like, oh, we stopped doing webinars. It's like, well, why'd you stop doing webinars? I don't know. Why'd we stop? I don't know. And so I think the critical thing is doing something that works.
Yeah.
Continuing it, and then how do you, not just that, but how do you do more of it? I think most people do it and they're like, oh, this is good, I'll keep it. No, how do you do 2 times more? Can you do twice as many webinars? Can you go to other people's businesses and do webinars? And I think that's where we've had a lot of success. So like sales. We hired one sales guy. We're like, sales is working with SumoMe. This is awesome because our customers want to talk to us. Let's hire as many salespeople as we can.
So the takeaway then is if something is working, do more of it. Is that?
I know, but that's the hard cliche ones. Some of these things that you learn the lessons, it's only if you've experienced it, I think you can learn. Or hopefully you can take some of the advice and say, all right, well, I was talking to this VP of marketing from Dell last week. And he's like, no, if you can only really do 2 channels of marketing or activities to grow your business, what would you do? And I was like, sales. He's like, so what are you doing about that? I'm like, not enough. And so it was interesting to if you take that moment, like your podcast, if there was like one thing that you could do, like only one activity that would grow your podcast, like what would you do?
Oh man, you want me to tell you right now? One thing I could do is I could get transcripts made of all the episodes, so I would have some long tail search. That'd be one thing that could grow.
That is one thing.
It wouldn't necessarily be the best.
It's not necessarily the best. I guess what I would do if I were
I could get Noah Kagan on my podcast.
Yes. Well, what I would do if I was number one, look at what you've done historically with the podcast that's worked.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, hey, what did you just tell me at lunch? You interviewed Simply Recipes. She posted on her Facebook page. Shit went crazy, and you got a lot more downloads than you ever have. Yeah. And we're gonna beat that because my mom is gonna download this 6,000 times. Like she's gonna be on her MacBook 94. But my point is looking back historically to say, all right, well, what did I do or what things can I try to reproduce that will help me grow? So let's say 2 things I would say. 1, it sounds like if you get guests that already have an audience.
Yes.
Right? And 2, make it very easy and accessible and encourage them to want to promote it on a very light ask. So, hey, I really enjoyed our interview. I'd love to give your audience like a free microphone or something. And if you shared it on your Facebook page, like here's the text for you to share it. And that alone is like, all right, cool. That's something easily and repeatable.
It's funny that you mention it because that's kind of the prevailing wisdom in podcasting is, get somebody with a big audience and then you'll grow your audience that way and ask them to share it with your audience. But I've always tried to resist thinking about it that way because I want my ideas for guests to come from who I think is interesting and who has something that I want to share.
Yeah.
And then I don't really ask people to share it, but people do. And so in the case of Elise, who has a big audience, I wasn't even thinking about it. I just loved her website and I loved her story. And I think part of that might even be what makes people want to share it is because there's some authenticity there that they find exciting and that they want to share. So
I think
I've been on podcasts before where they expect you to share.
It's obvious. They're like, hey, here's your link to share it
it's
out.
Obvious, that's all they want.
Yeah, it's like, bro, I need at least an appetizer before we're sleeping together. Like I don't just jump right into bed.
Yeah.
But I think that's a fundamental challenge between creatives and like operational people.
Yes.
Where like my default is thinking about how to get people to listen to it.
Yes.
Like that is my initial thought, and I work backwards from that. And yours is working, and obviously if I was doing a podcast, I'd want to have interesting people, but it would also be like clearly with the intent, I want to have a certain amount of audience listening to it. And you're coming from an approach of like, it's definitely like, artist, creative mindset, which is not bad, but It's like, I'm going to do this stuff, put it out into the earth, and then hopefully shit happens, where I'm more of like, I guess we would say instead of serendipity, more of the planner.
Yeah.
Like here's my goal, here's my directions on getting my goal, and then I'm going to go execute on it and see how it goes.
And I've got to do both. It's straddling the line. It's not to say that I've never booked a podcast guest and thought, oh wow, that person has a good audience. Maybe they'll share it. Maybe more people will listen.
Yeah.
But I'm trying not to make it like take over.
Yeah.
Or whatever as a.
I think what most people do, and including myself, like we were talking about a friend of yours, someone who doesn't like me. How do you incentivize people to be selfish? Right? So thinking of it, obviously, from my perspective, so how does David selfishly, in his own way, get me excited to want to do something for you?
Yes.
And so I think that is sales, that is marketing with partnerships, I guess business development. And so a lot of it is like, how do you really make it such a thing for me that I'm excited to do it?
Yeah. Like if I get you to pitch something that you want people to hear about in this podcast,
totally,
then that would make you excited to share it.
Exactly. Well, like if it's like in blog posts, a lot of people mention other people in it so that, hey, I mentioned you in this blog post, that they're also likely to kind of...
Or the roundups, right? We've got 100 different SEO experts that are all giving their... and you get those emails for roundups probably. Now it's become such a thing now that now you just turn them down because...
Well, it's just lazy.
Because it's lazy.
Yeah, but the point being is that like you have to figure out how to really make it worth it for them versus like when these roundup emails I get, it's like, all right, so you want me to do all this work, I give it to you, and then I have to promote you more. So like, when do I get anything?
Well, how about, when I told you, okay, the Jason Fried episode was the most popular episode, and then now Elise Bauer has come along, and I think by now her episodes probably has the most downloads now.
Yeah.
And then it sounds like you want to beat that.
I would love to beat her.
Like you feel incentivized to... I need to have like a leaderboard for all of my guests, and I'll send it out to them every week.
I'm pretty much going to dedicate my life to this. I mean, this is obviously what I should spend my whole day doing, is promoting this one podcast.